And what's going on, everybody? Welcome to Fatality, a Mortal Kombat retrospective. I am your host, the Fluffmaster Supreme himself, Mr. Big Johnny D, and allow me to introduce my co-host, the DKB, that saucy Aussie, Mr. Brody Kano Kane.
Howdy, my mateys.
And today is the 8th of May, or you're Brody, you're in the 9th. And we are talking round 7, which is our spin-offs continued. And we're doing NK versus DCU today. Yeah, I can't wait. But before we get to that, we always like to break it down a little bit and do our slice and dice. So, Brody, how you been, brother?
I've been very well, Mr. Johnny D. I've been pretty damn well. Yeah, interesting week of work. But I won't go too much into that. But yeah, received this lovely gift from Arrow Videos. The King of New York. Now, this is going to be on L Lights Camera Exploitation Season 2. Such an underrated film. Christopher Walken, doing his thing. Got the old Lawrence Fishburne, Wesley Snipes, Steve Buscemi. Even has old mate from CSI. What's his name? Horatio. The ginger haired bloke. I think he was in like Session 9 and all that as well.
Oh my God, I'm terrible with names, dude. Fuck.
Yeah,
you need the boss man or Nick for that shit, dude.
That's right, yeah. I should know, but yeah, I kind of went out last night drinking, and that was a bit of a bad choice. I'm a little bit hungover today, so yeah, punched down a few brewskis, a few beers last night. Other than that, mate, as I said, flat out at work. But how about yourself, mate? How you been?
I've been great, dude. Just been relaxing. Unfortunately, doing the adult grind, working all week, all that good shit. Let's see. I'm playing Shaolin Monk still. We may have covered it, but I'm not done with it in my personal. So been playing that still with the wife. Also played this lovely game that we're going to talk about. I dabbled back in that this week as well. Fired up the old 360. Yep. And that was good shit. I gotta say though, man, here's one thing about playing fighters. And I was playing Power Rangers Battle for the Grid today on my Switch. And my daughter was on my Xbox, and she was playing Soul Calibur or whatever. And I love that where everybody's just like playing fighters and it's just cycling around, right? Sorry, boss man, I will. Little private joke there. But so I was playing Power Rangers Battle for the Grid online, and people kept fucking quitting the matches, dude. And it was pissing me off. They wouldn't let me get that fucking win. Like, yeah, it gives you the win and all, but you know what I mean? Like, you don't get that like legit win. And they would get like, I'd be stomping on them. They'd be down there to the last Ranger, dude. Well, I still have like all 3, and like 2 of them are full green. And it's just like, whoop, quit. And my wife's like, well, and my wife and my buddy both were like, well, you're probably spanking little kids on the Switch. I'm like, no, dude, it's cross-platform. It doesn't matter. It's not just Switch people, right? So on top of that, like, dude, I'm like level 32 or some bullshit, whatever. There was some motherfucker I played, dude, who was like a level 120. So I was like,
holy
dude, I'm gonna
fuck.
get right. So I'm like, I'm gonna get wrecked. No, dude, I came in with Adana, man, and I was just fucking putting it down, and like he fucking quit, and I was like, what the fuck, man? Like, so I actually got like one legit full win out of like 6 games, dude. I was so pissed. Like, and then the last game, the servers just straight up like booted us both, and I was like, oh, that sucks.
So everyone can get fucked.
Yeah, dude. Like, listen, man, if you're gonna game online, especially in fighters, if you're getting wrecked, take the fucking loss, dude. You know what I mean? Like,
exactly.
Yeah, listen, it sucks to get pounded on in the corner, unless we're not talking about Mortal Kombat. But
just being immature. Sorry.
Yeah, right now. But it's like, you know what I mean? Like that to me, that's the way you're going to learn is by fighting people who are better than you and, trying to do your best against that, learning how they fight and then making yourself better. And yeah, dude, like, why would you quit? Fuck that, dude. Like, I never do. Even if I get spanked right out the gate, man, like, I'm still going to try my hard. Like, at that point, I'm going to go try hard. You know what I mean? You're sitting on the edge of the couch, your butt's barely touching it.
Take the loss, grow up, and pull your fucking head in. Simple.
Fucking A. All righty. So seeing as we're already talking about fighters, I'm going to say we jump right into this shit, buddy. So we are covering Mortal Kombat versus DC Universe, which came out in 2008. Developer and publisher is Midway Games. Rest in peace. And director is Ed Boon. Producers Henslow, Hector Sanchez, and Micheline Zawaki.
Yeah,
that's a tough one.
It is.
I apologize for butchering that person's name. If for some reason that ever gets to them, I doubt it would. Oh man! So designers we have Paulo Garcia. Holy shit! I'm fucking everybody's name up today. And John Edwards. Programmers are Michael Boone, Ed's brother, Alan Villini, and Alexander Barentine. Artists we have Steve Baran, Carlos Pencina, and Dave Pindara. Writers John Vogel. And composers we have Chris Velasco, Sacha. I'm gonna fuck this one up. Dickiesian. And then these two ones, man, they just went with like some crazy ass names, but Soundalex, DMG, and Dynamadion. And I know they sound fucking weird, but they are game composers. They've actually been in the business for a while and they're really fucking good. So you want to go super deep, go check that out. Shout out to our boy, Mr. Scuba Steve, saying fighters aren't really his thing unless it's injustice. Well, guess what, buddy? That's what we're talking about next week. We'll get into that a little later. Mm-hmm. That's right. I've actually been playing Injustice 1 in preparation for next week, too.
Ooh, jumping the gun.
The daughter likes the second one. I was like, I pulled out the first one, blowed it, I dusted it off, and she's like, I was like, you want to try this one? She's like, what's that? I was like, threw it in. So her and I played that for a little bit. But you want to take away our breakdown, buddy?
That I can, mate, for sure. So in this chapter of the Mortal Kombat franchise, worlds collide as the MK universe is off balance and seems to be merging with another unknown universe. The merger is not only causing destruction to both worlds, but also infecting everybody with a bloodlust to fight known as the Rage. Follow our beloved characters from each universe in their own story and figure out what is causing the disturbance and fix it before both worlds are destroyed.
Dum dum dum. So for our character list, we got a nice little roster in this one.
Yes.
I believe it's 10 and 10. I didn't do the full count, but I'm pretty sure it's 10 and 10. So for MK characters, which is probably I can't speak for Brody, but obviously it's going to be my favorite side of this fighter here. Nothing against DCU. Still got my DCU people in this. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
But we have Liu Kang, Raiden, Katana, Baraka, Kano, Sonya, Jax, Mr. Shang Tsung, Scorpion, and Sub-Zero, of course, and the big baddie himself, Mr. Shao Kahn. Who do we have for DCU, buddy?
We have Batman, Flash, Catwoman, Captain Marvel, aka Shazam, Green Lantern, Wonder Woman, Lex Luthor, the Joker, Superman, Deathstroke, fuck yes, and Darkseid, all side.
Mm-hmm. And for the big old boss in this game, we get Dark Khan, who's actually the only original character in this game. So, what do we got for gameplay additions, buddy?
Well, this is the first MK game to feature a story mode, and on top of that, 2 variations of it to where you are allowed to play either side.
Correct. So let me ask you, man, when you got to dabble with this, or if you, I don't know how much you did, Which side did you pick first?
I went straight to Mortal Kombat. Straight
Fair
up.
enough. I mean, it's probably kind of biased to both of us to say. I'm sure, like I already knew that answer, but
Yeah,
it was my like boom. And some may say save the best for last and go with the DCU. I would either one, dude. It's like I think I was just more eager because I was like, dude, I want to play them MK characters. You know what I mean?
yeah.
First one on that new generation, then. Fucking A, dude. What else we got, bud?
A new mode is added during fights known as free fall mode. This allows players to knock other fighters off the arena, prompting an almost rock, paper, scissors-esque minigame to where you try to match your opponent to swing the attack in your favor. This move allows you to build up a meter, allowing you to do a super move and causing a total of 30% damage, which I really like.
Yeah, that was so this was an awesome introduction to this game. Unfortunately, it was the only time it was in the MK franchise. I would say it's reminiscent of the Deception mid-match level kills, essentially.
Yep.
Obviously you're not, we all know, and if you don't, MK versus DC was definitely tamed down in comparison to what we are used to for Mortal Kombat. So,
yes.
Yeah, but we're fighting superheroes, and superheroes are all about beating them up. So you get a nice, and it's kind of funny, man, because like if you get that switch around, it seems like it slows your fall down just so you can get that, because obviously your distance is going to be still the same. But the best are the few levels in this game that actually allow you to continuously knock each other off edges to edges to edges to edges. Because there's like some of them, I think, and I could be wrong, but some of them only have like one knockdown to where you could do it once and then like that's about it.
Yeah, like, I think the graveyard is like that.
That, and I believe it's the Special Forces level is also just a one-time knockoff. But it's like you go to like the Nether Realm. The Nether Realm, you can just go poof, 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 poof. Like it's consistently never ending, which is fucking great. Yeah, man, and it's as fun as it is. It can be very frustrating too, especially when doing it against the computer, because it feels like the computer just cheats you anyways. It's just like because it already knows what your input code is, so it's just like always like whoop, and you're like, fuck that, dude.
It's not the fact that I'm terrible at the fucking level. It's the fucking game itself.
This game is cheating.
It's cheating. How dare you?
What else we got, brother?
We have like the free fall mode. Another mode now as close combat is also added, utilizing the same button prompt guessing game.
So close combat is activated by hitting your right bumper or your R1 button, depending on what system you are playing on. And yeah, it's kind of weird. It brings you in and like this, it almost like it's a full zoom in. It's a lot slower. And you get to do your basic, like you get what? 3 kind of mild punches, and then like B is like always like a clothesline or some kind of like ending kind of hit.
Yeah, it's basically like a grapple situation, pretty much, I think.
Yeah, it was. I didn't like this as much as the free fall. I didn't like. It was okay, and I think it's almost the best way to use it is like when you're kind of getting fucked, and you don't, and there's no way you can't figure any other move to get yourself out of that situation. So you're like, all right, close combat. And you know what? It's like, even if you get fucked in that, at least it like kind of breaks that person's combo up to the point where it's like, you can catch your bearings again. I guess.
Just readjust.
Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, all right, how are we going to attack this now? All right. What's the next one, brother?
So we have rage mode has also been added as a new mechanic, allowing players to enter a limited state where your attacks become not only unlockable, but also offer more damage. The only way to harm someone in rage mode is to activate yours as well. So that was kind of cool to actually just go fucking full Super Saiyan on your opponent.
Pretty much. And I mean, obviously this game mechanic was introduced because of the story mode. Like, you know what I mean? Like this would have been a weird, maybe not so much, but it would have been harder to accept without the story mode explaining it. You know what I mean? Like you could have got a text-based explanation like we did in the golden days. But you also didn't need that kind of shit in the golden days. You know what I mean? Like it was an interesting apologize. It was an interesting mechanic. That's for sure. And once again, the fact that you got to activate yours just in order to like deal damage back to the other person or evade like a motherfucker.
It was actually a bit of a bastard though, because like you were like, I remember playing it and I was so low on my health bar and I activated it thinking, you know what, I'm invincible. Like it makes you invincible. And then the bloke, one of me mate had Green Lantern and knocked me with the hammer and I just died. And I only activated the rage mode thinking, yeah, as I said, unstoppable. No, I was fucking it. I was out. So that was the biggest downfall I had with rage. Like they were still able to do damage on you.
Nice.
I was like, fuck. It's like the biggest cock tease ever.
Fucking A, brother. Fucking A. So let's see. And we got for our last little bit here. During the fights, the fighters now show permanent damage as the match goes on. Bruises, blood, broken or torn clothes, and even missing flesh are shown now. And I'm going to say missing flesh because you start beating the shit out of our boy Scorpion, man. You actually get to see his skull revealed and shit. It's actually pretty sweet.
Absolutely. That looks fucking incredible. I will just say Scorpion in this game looks unreal. He's like nearly one of the best looking designs out of all of them. That's just my opinion.
No, he really is, dude. Like I love this design of Scorpion, and I wish they utilized it in other ones. Like I enjoy his Injustice design. It's a lot like more of like a Reaper-esque, but this one was just like a melding of classic and like newer aesthetic, I guess.
It looked like, yeah, like a bit of a like his mask design, like the Scorpion looked like a face hugger as well, but you could tell it was like that Scorpion-esque type.
You know, I never actually put that image in my head, but now that you say that, dude, like abso-fucking-lutely, dude. Yeah. And you know what? So before we actually go behind the scenes, we're actually kind of going a lot faster than I expected. I forgot. I skipped over our delicious trailer. So yeah, let's take a look at this before we go into this. And so this is going to be the story mode trailer. So let's take a look.
Are coming in that Darkseid has been defeated by Superman.
Heroes all over the world are disappearing, including the Flash.
Many White Lotus have also disappeared.
Earth is in the process of merging with another planet.
But energies are in constant flux as a result of the merging. Magic.
The merging of worlds is contaminating the galaxy.
Earthrealm faces a grave new challenge.
Our world and the alien world occupy the same time and space.
Powers are shifting, rebalancing.
Grinding two universes together will eventually rip them both apart.
The Elder Gods underestimate me.
At first I thought it was the Emperor, but it is someone much more powerful.
Your world is invading mine, affecting everything and everyone in it.
Bitter rivals must fight as one.
You must gather an army of both dark and light. If we fail, none of us will survive.
It's worse than I suspected. Much worse.
We have come to challenge you in mortal combat.
Come on, we'll kill things, blow things up. Oh, it'll be fun.
All right.
What a fucking trailer that was.
Right? Dude, this game, okay, so going back to what you mentioned for our first little nugget of additions. So, story mode. This is the first MK to introduce a really, really, really big story mode. And from that moment, it has now been a staple in all the latter MK games. So we're talking 9, X, and 11 at this point. And goddamn, they've definitely honed their craft. You know what I mean?
Oh yes.
I'm not even gonna shit on this story mode. Like, okay, you're talking 2008. So now if you look at it from today's standards, I can see where you might say it's not the best. That's fine. But dude, it's honestly still, I think, a really good story for like what it is. It's I almost wish I had like one of our DC boys on, because it's an interesting take for me, at least for DC, because it's old, like, to me, golden age DC. You know what I mean? This is pre New 52, to which, like, I feel like everything now is New 52. You know what I mean? Like, and that's where you even start getting that in Injustice 1, which once again next week. But this was like, this was that golden age. Like, I mean, just the way like Wonder Woman fights and Green Lantern, you know what I mean? It's different, and I still enjoy it. But
yeah, no, I definitely agree with you there. And obviously the biggest thing for the creators to conjure up a story like this, you had to hit the nail on the head. You had to get that right. I mean, and I think they did with the, like you said, with the story mode and all that. I think it's kind of cool how they blend these two, Mortal Kombat and DC together in that sense. It's actually a really decent story. You know, it's not crap or anything.
No, I mean, okay, it's not like it's the best written story, obviously, like, but at the same time, it's not like crazy plot holes and stuff like that. You know what I mean?
No, like it actually, it makes sense and it works. Like, and as long as you can have fun with it in that sense, like, and not take it too serious. Like, I mean, there'd be a lot of MK and DC fans out there could have been, just jumping up and down about the story for this. It would have been actually interesting to hear TJ's thoughts on this game.
Right. I honestly don't know if he ever played it. I think he played the Injustice. I can't speak for him, obviously, but we'll have to get his little take on that. No, it's like I said, I like the Golden Era DC. It's much different than what we're used to in the last 10 years, though. For sure. That being said, like, I remember when this came out, everybody was like, "Oh, that's so stupid, dude. Like, Superman would literally wreck everybody in the MK universe." And I was like, yeah, except for everybody in the MK universe's powers are based off of magic, which is literally one of Superman's invulnerabilities. Like, and anybody I feel that's like even a baseline comic book nerd, I wouldn't even say nerd, just fan at that point. You know what I mean? Like, you don't even have to know anything. Still knows like Superman's like kryptonite and magic. And there might be something else that I'm missing, but like those are the big two. And I remember when this trailer first dropped, I was so glad that they even had the line in there after Superman gets booted in the chest from fucking Scorpion. He's like, "What? Magic?" And it doesn't show it, but Scorpion's like, "Sorcery." And yeah, you know what I mean? Like, I love it. It was like, it makes total fucking sense.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, personally, to me, this wasn't the best MK roster of choice.
Ooh,
and it was all right. Like, I wish some people in story mode didn't get shorted. Like, I wish they gave every character a chapter. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Batman. Okay. Batman. Let me say something about Batman. Batman is ridiculous in this game. He's got them high fucking Nazi kicks, dude, that are just like those just ridiculous axe kick, dude. It just stomps your face and fucking, yeah. He is just like, obviously Batman's gonna be OP. He's Batman. You know what I mean? Not to even bring this up, but like when they do fucking Injustice, You play Batman like 3 different times in the story. You could tell these motherfuckers over at NetherRealms are Batman fans.
Oh, absolutely.
For sure. But oh my god, dude. It's the characters are, like I said, some of the characters are great. Like Superman fights awesome. You said Catwoman to blah. Do you just not like the character of Catwoman, or you didn't like how she fought in this?
I guess it's more so directed playing as her as in, like against opponents, like in versus mode.
Gotcha.
I don't feel the need that she needed to be in this game. I would have put Cyborg in over her or someone else.
Now, once again, I don't know how big Cyborg was in that particular generation. Like, I mean, I know he was obviously prevalent, but I don't know if he was just Teen Titans still, or like, I don't really know his. Like, did he start out as a Justice League and then went to Teen Titans? Is like that was his origin story, or is that like 52 style?
It might have been Titans. You might shit. I'd have to recap that. But even if they could have probably put Robin in there or something, you know, Batman and Robin, or fuck, I don't know, just someone else. I don't feel like Catwoman really needed to be in there. I didn't like her design, and I'll talk about that later. But yeah,
no, that's fine. Yeah, I agree, man. Like I didn't think Baraka needed to be in there. Like they didn't really utilize him for like. He literally just played like a henchman number 2 to Shang Tsung, and like all the story. He had a few lines, and that was about it. They fucking Rieko'd him in this game, dude. You know what I mean? 2021 Rieko'd his ass. We're gonna make that a thing.
What's the other name for Baraka?
Oh yeah. So little sidebar here. I got a shout out to our Dark Lord of Knowledge over on Gorenmore, Mr. Chad Daddy himself, Chad Chrisman. He was telling me a little story because he was watching Scorpion's Revenge. Great film. His daughter she loves Baraka. However, she's a little younger, so she calls him Bob Raka. And yeah, that's my new favorite thing of the week, man. I'm not
Bob Raka. Fuck yeah. That's
awesome.
gonna
I feel like I need to make a variant in MK11 titled Bob Rocket now. You know what I mean? Just an homage for Harper. So
swinging a bloody guitar off his back with drumsticks and lassos you with a microphone.
Fucking A, dude. Oh, so let's see here. I mean, is there anything else you want to discuss about this before we do a little behind the scenes, bud?
I might just quickly throw in there like that Test Your Might returns as well.
Ooh, yes.
It's the wall smash, isn't it? They throw you through the wall.
Yeah, no, obviously. So this isn't in every level. It's going to be in your city levels where you are right up against buildings, so you can't do the free fall mode. And so I'm assuming when they were like thinking about like making this game, they're like, well, we got these levels here. You're like, how are we going to do it if we got free fall mode? Like these levels are going to be that much, you know what I mean? Like they're going to be kind of boring in comparison, which we'll get into level design in a little bit. Because obviously this is the last style of 3D arenas before we hop back to the good old 2D plane. So yeah, we have this new Test Your Might. You throw your opponent through the wall, and it's a good old fucking button mash. Just like fucking not as ridiculous as old Test Your Might. You know what I mean? I don't feel like it's because it's not a one button where you're just like, and like your thumb fucking hurts by the end of the 30 seconds of fucking bullshit. But yeah, so now it's just a balance meter of how much percentage of damage you're going to get from the attack, which is kind of cool, man, because the lowest I've always broken it down, like not to 0, but I think I got it to like 1%. So like, you know what I mean? Like that's pretty fucking nice when you get to do that.
Fuck yes.
Alrighty. So, oh no, my show notes froze.
God damn it.
Well, buddy, I'm going to let you take that right away.
Yep. Too easy. So for behind the scenes stuff, all characters have finishing moves except for Darkseid and Shao Kahn. The MK combatants and DC villains have 2 fatalities, while the heroes of DC have heroic brutalities.
All right. So now we're talking fatalities. I think this is like one of the biggest elephants in the room on this fucking game.
Shit. It's plain and simple.
They all suck, dude. So when it comes to our big questions at the end, it's going to be it's kind of it's slim pickings. But
it's going to be interesting.
Oh man. Yeah. Dude, the fatalities fucking tanked on this game. And why?
Yes.
Because fucking Warner Brothers set certain license abilities to do with what their characters. Hence why the heroes don't have fatalities, because our heroes can't be killing people. They're heroes, right? So look at that brutalities. But let's be honest, all the shit that they do for the brutalities would fucking literally kill any normal human being, like the Joker or Kano, or you know what I mean? Like, or fucking Sonya or any of that shit, dude. Speaking of which, sidebar on Sonya. Sonya is fucking OP as shit in this game, dude. Her move sets are ridiculous. She might actually be one of my favorite variants of Sonya in this game.
I was going to say that she actually, she surprised me in this game. I was impressed.
Well, okay, so like obviously she always had her upwards kick, right? And I mean, it's been a bicycle kick since like 3. And she still has like this, dude. But the fact that you can like combo it back down, man, and just like essentially like walk on top of them, like. Yeah. And this was the first game that kind of introduced that feature, and that was something I didn't unfortunately put in our notes, but was the comboing of into other combos, and they would always signal it with like a base pulse, so you know when you'd hit that perfect timing for the actual. Case in point, like if you're playing Sub-Zero and you do your tombstone teleport, favorite move ever.
Yeah. Yes.
And so you do your tombstone teleport up into your self fucking freeze, man. So anytime they're instantly like, you know what I mean? Like, and it's a perfect because you could always wait because everybody's always trying to get your smackdown coming out of a fucking teleport. You know what I mean? It's an easy open hit. But in the fact that they added that shit in, man, you get that perfect timing, like, and it's a little Sizz feeling moment. You know what I mean? Right about there, you're like, ooh, yeah, perfect fucking combo, dude.
Bit of a tingle downstairs when you can master it.
Fuck yeah, dude. So what else we got behind the scenes there, brother?
So we've also got Ed Boon said that there was to be potential of a DLC for this game, adding not only new characters but potentially new chapters.
Ooh.
However, none were released. The characters were rumored to be Quan Chi and Harley Quinn. It was also hinted at that Kung Lao and Doomsday were potentials as well.
Dude, Doomsday would have been a fucking awesome addition in.
Absolutely.
I mean, I loved him in Injustice. So it would have been very interesting to see his design in this era of MK versus DC. 2008, because I'm thinking Justice was 2013. So we're talking 5 years later. Harley Quinn, obviously, that's a big old fan favorite. I wouldn't say no to that. And Quan Chi, I feel like would have been an easy one because he was in the fucking story so much. It's almost surprising he wasn't in the like. He would have been a better fill in my position for like than Baraka. But at the same time, I could see the argument of you already have Shang Tsung, so you might not want Shang Tsung and Quan Chi, which, I don't. Yeah. Listen, Baraka's a fan favorite too, so I feel like that's why he was just added in. But I feel like they should have just did a little bit more with him.
I'd prefer Quan Chi over some of the characters easily. And even over Shang Tsung. I know Shang Tsung's a big part of it, but fuck me, I prefer Quan Chi every day of the week.
I feel like, Quan Chi, because it would have been nice to see how he would have fought in this game. Yeah, like Shang Tsung is dead nasty in this game too, man. Like this is the introduction of his like slide kick and all that shit.
However, like we discussed earlier, his fatalities are fucking.
You know what? Why don't we just bring those up right now? No, fuck it, dude. Okay, so Shang Tsung's fatalities are literally Soul Suck 1 or Soul Suck 2. And I almost wish I had a video of this, and I tried like getting one to like break it down, but whatever, it doesn't matter. So like in 1, he like takes all your souls out, throws you down, and kicks you in the back, which I thought personally was a reference. I thought personally was a reference to 95's the beginning when he kills Liu Kang's brother.
Yes. Yep.
So I'll give a sweet like nod to that. But then the second one is literally he turns into that person, grabs him by the neck, takes the same amount of souls all out, and then just throws them down.
With no kick in the back. Damn.
Yeah, it's just like, so he, instead of the kick in the back, he got like a punch and a choke instead with a throw. And it's like, man, that is just like the best ones that you could potentially do in this game are the ones where people get lit on fire. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like those are the ones that at least like are
satisfying.
the closest. Yeah, they're the closest to like, okay, I can accept that for a fatality. Now, if it was MK, like there'd be like people's fucking skin melting off, or like they'd explode with body pieces going whatever. You know what I mean? Like if we get explosions, but somehow you get a full skeleton intact. Like it's so weird that they did all that shit. Like, okay, so like Raiden's got the one where he grabs you and he uses you like a lightning rod, essentially.
Yeah.
And it turns into a skeleton. Okay, that one's acceptable. But then you got what? Katana's Kiss of Death, which is a sweet reference to MK2. But, you know, they turn all big and fat. But instead of like exploding into little body pieces, it's just an explosion and a full skeleton pops on the ground.
Yeah. So stupid.
Yeah. I don't know. It was an attempt. Like I said, these motherfuckers were definitely hindered by Warner Brothers, no doubt. They don't want their characters getting killed up, and they don't want their characters killing people like that. And I think that's why, dude, like that's why we got Joker and MK11. You know what I mean? Like, and yeah, I can't remember if this is in the behind the scenes, but the Joker fatality was such a fan favorite in this one because that was actually one of the better ones too. You know what I mean? It's very his style, I would say.
Yeah, it suits him. It's grounded.
But it does the pull away when he does the gunshot because we can't show that, quote unquote. But then like I said, such a fan favorite. They brought that back in MK9 with Shang Tsung, and it was awesome. Yeah. And so he didn't turn into the Joker, but he turned into a clown with Joker's laugh, and then they literally fucking showed the whole like explosion of the face, which was, you know what, that was kind of nice that they did to the fans, like maybe not Shang Tsung fans because they probably felt screwed, but at the same time, I thought it was a sweet nod back. You know what I mean?
Yeah, oh, absolutely. It was just I like that. Well, I honestly thought that looked better on that clown. It was a lot more creepier to the Joker that we get from DC. And it was just fucking intimidating.
Because he had like that weird little bozo hat, dude, and he was more of that was a creepy ass clown, dude.
It was pretty fucking.
That's a Gore and More discussion. Creepy clowns and why we love them. So what else we got some behind the scenes here, buddy? A little collector edition action.
Yeah, so a collector's edition was released for systems that included the game, a comic based on the game, a sealed copy of the box art, and a Blu-ray copy of 1995's Mortal Kombat.
Damn, it's a hell of a collector's edition.
Nice. Oh yes,
I never got that because unfortunately I bought the game digitally. I wish I kind of did though. Well, I think I had it physically, and then it was like, for some reason, it got traded in, but then I might have traded in just because I wanted to buy it digitally because I was getting to that point where I was like, I don't want to get up and move disc. Like, fuck that.
Yeah.
Lazy gaming.
This is the only game in the entire MK franchise that was not rated mature due to the limited use of the DC license and the toned down violence.
Right. So as we mentioned, like obviously the fatalities were lacking. They did have some blood in it, but it wasn't a crazy amount of blood. It was, I don't know. It was like little, like it was almost like MK1 style blood. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was just little spats here and there. But for some reason they didn't bleed in the fatalities. Doesn't make any fucking sense, dude. Like, why would you have it in the game and then take it out for that shit? Like if you're getting stabbed by a knife or a fucking fan blade or anything like that, you know what I mean? Like there should be some blood squirt. Like, nope.
Absolutely.
Yeah. In and out.
Johnny Cage's grave can be seen in the graveyard arena.
Rest in peace, Johnny Cage. Yeah.
The man himself.
He actually was in the they did have him in the prequel comic. I believe him and Goro were mentioned in that. So like it was also thought that they were going to be potential DLC, but obviously once again, like we mentioned earlier, the DLC didn't really get to happen for this game.
Bit of a shame.
I know, right? Like I feel like it would have made the money. I definitely would have bought that shit.
Absolutely. This was the first MK game to be released on the PS3 and Xbox 360.
Yes, it was. This was our generational leap from Armageddon to something new. And we've mentioned this in previous episodes where this technically would be MK8. So we could have covered it in the chronological order, but it didn't make sense for the MK storyline because it really doesn't have an intersecting point of the MK storyline. I would have to say it would almost have to be like somewhere between MK2 and 3, maybe. Like that would be the only like feasible option I could take on that. But I don't know. It once again, it just doesn't. So that's why we're considering this spin-offs. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, absolutely. It's a bit of a head fuck, to be honest.
Yeah, it was just something different, dude. You know what I mean? Like Capcom and Marvel fucking did that shit. So DC was like, yo, I want to taste on that. So we're gonna go with the other we're gonna go with the other biggest fucking fighting franchise, which would be MK. Now,
absolutely.
Here's a little sidebar thing. How would you have preferred MK versus Marvel? Or no?
Oh, damn. No, that is a fucking tough question, actually. Yeah.
And I only bring this up, and as you probably know, it's rumored right now that anybody listening to this podcast, I'm sure knows, because if you're an MK fan, but NetherRealm Studios is working on a supposed Marvel fighting game to be exact.
Yes.
But whether it'll be a crossover or anything, that's obviously all like bullshit speculation and shit. But yeah. Like, I mean, would Marvel versus MK make less sense or more sense? Like, essentially, I feel like you could almost do the same story. I just don't know what. Like, I guess you might have chose like Thanos instead or something. I don't. You know what I mean? Like, I don't.
It's kind of hard because I've always found, obviously, DC and Marvel competing against each other. But I find, and this might cause a lot of controversy, but this is only my opinion. Yeah. I find that DC, the DC characters to me mean a lot more because obviously I grew up with Batman and Deathstroke and all that. And then I look back at Marvel and I'm like, well, Deathstroke is basically fucking Deadpool for a start. You know, the Slade and the Wade Wilson scenario.
Right.
So there's all these little things that
Deathstroke came first, though, if I'm not mistaken. I think because Deadpool was 92. I think Deathstroke was like late 70s.
Yeah. I think if you want to really go back, I think Deathstroke was before. But yeah, it was always that DC meant a lot more to me in that sense. Like it just, I know everything's heavily borrowed from something else, but
yeah, dude.
Like you said, you could easily swap over Marvel instead of DC characters and have the same story. I mean,
now it'd be interesting if they ever gave us a sequel to this game, especially now with more New 52, like how much darker the DC universe has gotten over the last 13 fucking years.
Yep, absolutely.
Especially like you're going into Snyderverse and stuff, like, and obviously we get that with our series that we'll be covering next, because they go super fucking dark, dude. I remember in the first game alone there was this moment in the story mode where I was like slack-jawed. I was like, oh, they fucking did that, dude. Like, holy shit.
Yeah. Fuck.
And rest in peace to that character. But that's for a different discussion. But no, man, it's I don't know. Let's go back to what do we got here? So
so basically
Oh, sorry.
Katana, Baraka, Kano, Catwoman, and Deathstroke were the only characters to not get their own chapters in story mode.
And this is what I was talking about earlier. Like, I wish they just gave us a little bit more to give each character. Like, yeah, they were in the story, but they weren't. It would have been better.
Yeah, they definitely done my boy Deathstroke wrong in this game, which I will talk about in their questions. But yeah,
he fights nasty.
Oh yes, yes.
But yeah, man, like we should have got a full Deathstroke mission. That would have been way better.
Absolutely. This is the only MK game after MK4 to not feature coins or the crypt.
Yeah. So that was another little that's another reason why I don't consider this in the canon of MK. You know what I mean? This was just an MK side project for the most part. Yeah. Like our previous talks with like Shaolin monks and all that other good stuff. So as sad as it was, I mean, this didn't have the bonus content like we were used to. It had its bios and its endings and all that other good shebang. But that was kind of it. But like was, you know, once again, we had the introduction of story mode. But that's also coming off the last two games where we had like full on like God of War mode style games. Like shit, dude, like we had full conquest mode. You know what I mean? It's a full game in itself.
Yeah, exploring everything pretty much.
But you know, new generation, new systems, all that good shebang. They were just trying something different. I'm glad the 3D arenas were put to end after this game.
Yes, absolutely.
Because that's one thing that I was thinking about while playing it. 3D arenas kind of suck in the aspect like there's no real reason for it in this game because you still fight on essentially the 2D plane in the 3D arena. You know what I mean? Like, so you can sidestep to like avoid a few moves, which is fine. But I'm just thinking from like even a like production standpoint, like you have to make that much more of a full level now. You know what I mean? Yeah. Whereas like if you just got that nice 2D scale, like it's just and that's all you got to worry about. You don't have to worry about that in a full 3D fucking texture mode and shit. Like, I don't know. Like, I know that's a weird thought to think about, but
yeah, no, absolutely. They sort of give you that subtle hint with the when you're fighting in versus mode. I think you can actually sort of pan around a little bit. They just sort of give you that taste.
Which is nice. So like, you know, you could see all the different stuff like of the worlds like combining together and everything like that. So like obviously in the Fortress of Solitude, like you see it broken through the wall and you see like Sub-Zero's temple up in the corner and all that good shebang. Like I love that shit. So it's kind of cool sometimes when you're panning around, but I feel like when you go that whole like 2D normal style, seeing as you're already fighting in that anyways, like you can just make the background there so much more in depth.
Yes.
And just add that much more detail to where if like you're rotating around, there's really no point because you never know where you're particularly going to be at. So yeah, I don't know. I feel like like I said, I'm just glad that was finally scrapped after 4 different games. Like it was an an interesting addition when like Deadly Alliance and shit came out, but I don't know. I'm glad it went away.
No, I agree.
Like Tekken, that kind of shit, you know, that makes sense. Soul Calibur with that, like it all that makes sense. MK, no, should have never been, in my opinion. Oh man. So I think we are down to our questions, buddy.
Ooh, yes.
All righty. So
yes, we are.
First time you played it, and what system did you play it on, bud?
So yeah, basically, well, played it back in 08. The good old high school days, mate. So look, I remember when it was announced, me and my mates were super fucking pumped for this game. And the biggest thing for me was, you know, you got these DC characters. Well, I thought these DC characters were going to show off some fucking brutal fatalities. And to see what they could conjure up, but unfortunately, I was a little bit disappointed. But I should have known that DC were never going to give us the full brutal aspect of seeing Superman rip someone's head off or burn holes through their skulls with his eyes. It's a bit disappointing. But yeah, played on the PlayStation 3, and this was one that I was going to buy, but for some reason I borrowed it out instead. I can't remember why. It was probably because I've been burnt by Midway in the past, just that trust issues.
No, that's fine.
But yeah, like yeah, I had fun playing it on the old PS3, and I found the characters actually pretty damn easy to play with too. So, but I've always been that PlayStation guy. But yeah, what about you, mate?
So I got it. I remember release day. Like I said, I got it physical, and then when eventually I turned it in and got digital. But I got an opening day, man. I can't remember if I took the day off to get it or not. I know MK9, dude. I definitely did like a whole day of like tournament and shit, like playing just by myself and all that good shebang of like all of them. But this one came out, and I remember I had a couple buddies come over, and we were all playing it. And I remember some of my buddies were ragging on it, and I was just so like happy that we finally got a new MK for like the system. To which I was playing it. I got it for 360, by the way. But yeah, that was like, I agree, man. It wasn't. I don't think I was fully disappointed, but I was definitely taken back when it came down to the lacking of violence compared to what we're used to.
Yes.
And mainly in the fatalities, like the fighting and the stuff. Fighting is top notch. I thought it was really good. The combos in this game are fucking nuts. The combo training in this game is fucking nuts.
Yep.
Like, damn, dude, you want some hard ass fucking combo training? Go fucking play this game. And yeah, it's fun shit. But if you can get it down, man, you get them fucking perfect combos. And you can pull some nasty ass fucking shit, dude.
Oh yes.
Like, they were definitely like Sub-Zero's combos in this were fucking phenomenal and stuff, dude. Like, it's the same Scorpions and Flashes, dude. Like, Flashes were a little like overplayed on what it was, but I enjoy them nonetheless, too. Like, so let's see. That would actually take us to our favorite character, to which I split up this week. So favorite MK character and favorite DC character, buddy.
Yeah, so I'm gonna have to go with the old faithful Sub-Zero. I mean, when everything else fails, always go with him.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, well, not to mention Scorpion. There was always those two. You never go wrong with those two. Scorpion, Sub-Zero. He has that crazy potential to really show off his brutality in this game, but you can definitely see that they stretched his limits on this. It looks like he's going to do something incredible, but yet they pull it back and give it like an M15 plus. I don't know. It just felt like it was the biggest cock tease ever. Like I thought I was going to actually rip someone's face off or something, but then it just held back and then just froze him to death, and that was it. And I was like, oh, okay. So
right. Yeah, his moves a little bit better than Shang Tsung's, but essentially were the same. It was just full body freeze and shatter. It's like, okay, like still accepting of it, but not quite the same.
Nah, like you said, the fighting in this game is fantastic. Like the combinations and all that, and I actually feel like Sub-Zero does his best in this game. Not just because he's my go-to guy. I actually feel that his fighting skills in this are top notch. But
fuck yeah.
What about you, mate?
Well, who's your DCU?
Oh, Deathstroke.
Yeah. Okay.
It'd be probably biased of me not to say Deathstroke just because I love fucking Deathstroke. I mean, it was just finally cool. Yeah, absolutely. It was just finally cool to play. Well, he's pretty much my favorite DC character of all time. So, and I've always found the villains and anti-heroes more intriguing and grounded than the hero,
Agreed.
But, it's just such an interesting character. I find, however, I found the developers didn't really do him justice in this game with his appearance and moves. Like he was just sort of slapped together real quick, and I hate to say it, he sort of looks like half a gimp and half Aquaman if you look closely at his design.
Oh, because he's got that like weird like little fishnet kind of thing going on, like
yeah, and like the latex mask that just sort of glues to his face. I just no.
Once again, I feel like that is. I feel I could be wrong. I feel like it's just golden age DC. You know what I mean? Like we're just going with OG costumes and not Batman so much. Batman was more like definitely like 80s style, not with like the super blue. Obviously, like we went the darker gray, but
yeah. I look. In saying that though, that's just my little nitpick for that. I mean, I will. Yeah, like he moves extremely well in this game, and I still had fun playing with his character. But I was Deathstroke. I was like, fuck yeah, Deathstroke every time.
And you know what? Unfortunately they screwed him on one of his fatalities because he has a gunshot that they pull away on too.
Yeah, yeah.
At least his other one was pretty sweet with the head twist.
Yes, like it's like the sword stab, isn't it? It's like stabs him.
He stabs him in the sword. The guy falls down. He goes over, and then he fucking goes over and breaks their neck. Like that was pretty brutal. You know what I mean? Like that was good. Wasn't great, but it wasn't bad. It wasn't terrible. So for favorite character in this game, dude, I have to agree with you 100 fucking percent, brother. It is Sub-Zero without a doubt for MK. This was literally my favorite iteration of Sub-Zero in all the MKs, specifically because he has that fucking the teleport. And the only time they brought that shit back in is like Cyber Sub-Zero had it when you did tag games and like you tagged him out and he'd be like, and you're like, that was it. And you're like, oh, God damn it. Like bring it back. It was such a fucking overpowered move, man. Especially when you chain it with the self freeze, because that was just a perfect, like, boom, you come down, hit him with the fucking sword, and now you're behind him and you can set yourself up for another like combo run. You know what I mean? Like usually like freeze or like running in, whatever. He was great, dude. His kicks were fucking nasty as shit. Like he had that sweet little fucking kick juggle, and then where you had him like with that good old fucking hard boot. And obviously, you know, Scorpion fought fucking great. This is where they actually brought his iterations of like him controlling Hellfire, whether it was on him or the portal underneath him, that was cool. Like I always enjoyed that move because like it almost kind of gave him another projectile, but it was definitely good for like his range, like just added more range and shit to him. And absolutely, teleport was always on point with this game too. So for DCU, I'm actually going to have to say it's a toss-up because I really love – it's a toss-up between the Red Thunderbolts, the Flash, and Captain Marvel because I love them both in this game. I think they fight nasty. I think they fight – especially Flash, like that just is what I always envision. Flash is just like a fury of fucking punches from every which fucking way. You know what I mean? And it's great because like he's got two moves where it's literally just run up and punch you a lot of times, but one is like a forward one, and then the other one is an actual like teleport style. So it's perfect because then it's just like a guessing game when you're fighting against Flash. Not that it isn't with every fighter, you know what I mean? Like you learn how people fight, but it's just like you never know which one you're gonna get thrown on that one. And Shazam is just Captain Marvel in this game as you know, that's what I was gonna little side note on that, buddy. Is that I wonder if that's the reason why this game never got like backwards compatible to like the Xbox One and stuff. I never actually tested to see if the online's still available. I don't believe it is, but I wonder if it's actually because of the Captain Marvel licensing.
Yeah, that's a very, very good question.
Just because obviously I know DC lost out on that, so that's why they call him now Shazam, and they've been calling him Shazam since then because Marvel's Captain Marvel. But yeah, I don't know. I wonder if that to me would be the only licensing issue with this game. You know what I mean? They don't have any guest characters. Warner Brothers owns Midway / NetherRealm Studios at this point, so they could do whatever they want with this game.
Pretty much.
But, and speaking of which, this is something so stupid, and I can't believe I could be way off, and I could not. I literally looked this shit up. I could not find it. So I mentioned I was playing it this week, right?
Yep.
Okay. Sonya's design. Do you remember when's the last? It's probably been a while since you played this, right?
Yeah, it's been a hot minute. Yeah.
Okay, so you might not remember, and that's fine. Did Sonya have thongs thong strap showing in this game?
Do you know what? Usually I would pick up on something like that, but I can't really remember.
That's fine. I swear to God she did, right?
Yep.
So when I was first started playing this game, like last week, whatever, there was a small update for it, but I didn't think anything of it. I figured it was just like some patch notes or some bullshit, right? So I'm playing through story mode, and I'm like, man, Sonya looks fucking weird because obviously, like, this is when MK was still like overly sexing up their women. So she had the super low rider early 2000 pants on and a super high like top. So her midsection looked fucking just huge. And I always thought she had the thong straps. Well, while watching the video, she technically does, and they're tan lines. And I'm wondering to myself, did they re-render her thong lines to take them out, but they never fully did it all the way? So now it just seems like tan lines.
Fucking hell. I would not be surprised if they did that.
Dude, I know this is like totally fucking reaching on all this shit. I swear to God, like
I'm gonna look this up right now.
I tried finding. I couldn't personally find anything, but I should have been looking for pictures of her when this first came out or something like that.
Oh, literally, someone pointed out. No. Oh, holy shit! You can actually see in this photo, like it's like a tan line up around her hip.
Right. And I swear it used to be a black thong. I know I'm
Holy
fucking
shit.
like such a goddamn nerd for even noticing that. I swear.
Holy shit! How did I not know? And even her top is see through. Look at that.
Oh yeah, dude. Like I said, they super oversexed Sonya Blade up on this shit, dude. Like,
yeah, not bad at all.
And speaking of which, man, seeing that we're still on our favorite characters, like I said, Sub-Zero for sure. And I'm gonna give it to Flash over Shazam if I have to pick one. Like, I think Flash is definitely my boy for DCU. Yep. But I gotta give it up to Sonya, dude. Once again, I know I said it earlier, but she was OP in this game, dude. Her fucking moveset was fantastic. From the leg slides or like from the grabs and her bicycle kicks. She was fucking nasty, dude.
If not ass hunky.
Oh my God. So now that we said our favorite characters, what were your least favorite characters of either side, brother?
Well, like I said before, Catwoman. I just find her fatalities are extremely shit. The character design looked terrible, and playing as her was very mediocre at best. Look, I could go on all day bitching about her being in this game. Obviously, no one wants to hear me ramble on about that, but I just don't think she was not needed for this game at all. Like I said, I would have put Cyborg or someone else in over her. I mean, I really don't know.
Martian Manhunter, anybody like?
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, well, that's for my DC side.
No, that's fine.
For the Mortal Kombat side, I'd probably go with. Oh shit! Who would I go with?
You're like, because I like everybody.
Yeah, well, it's a tough one. It's very tough. I'd probably look. I'm just going to say Shang Tsung for his. Just I never really played with his character at all, and when I did, it was only maybe once or twice. And I know it's a pretty piss weak excuse for me not to like the character, but. Yeah, he just doesn't do anything for me at all. I think that in nearly every game, they just make him the same type of guy, whether it's his fatalities or his fighting skills. I don't know. There's just something about him that I can't quite trigger. It's just, doesn't do it for me. I just feel like he's a character that's the same in every game.
Fair enough. I'm gonna have to say Katana on this one. Like, it's not that she didn't fight well enough, but I feel like Quan Chi was so much more in the story that he could have taken her spot. And yes. I get why they have her in there because they have her and Sonya, where they have Catwoman and Wonder Woman, so they want to have two females for each side to kind of like even it out. So I get it.
Yep.
But once again, dude, I feel like Quan Chi would have been a way cooler fill for that because she was in the story like Baraka. Like, I like fighting as Baraka, but once again, like I wish they like like I said before, not to keep reiterating that shit. But yeah, so I'll say Katana for that one. And then DC, dude, I'm going to shit on Green Lantern on this one, man. Fuck you, Green Lantern. You sucked. Hal Jordan fucking was crap in this game. Once again, this is Golden Age DC. So we're talking like old school fucking giant hands and little power hands and hammers. And dude, his one fatality is fucking terrible, man. It's literally 2 giant hammers that hit you in the ass and the nuts. And that's his heroic brutality. I'm like, while it would take you down, like that's a fucking lame brutality. I don't know, man. And like one of his moves is like a wall. Like, yeah, it's a good defensive move because it's like a really hard punch and everything, but it's just like, I don't know, man. Now, granted, we didn't have like the Ryan Reynolds movie at this time, which influenced a lot. Like, that was going in awesome New 52 direction. So once again, like Green Lantern and Injustice, totally different fucking feeling on that one. You know what I mean? Like, you got his guns and he's shooting rockets and shit like that. You know what I mean? Like, way different vibe. Green Lantern, this one just sucked though. He's shitty old school Hal Jordan, and just blech.
Fair enough.
I'm not saying get rid of him. I'm just saying like make him better. I don't know. He didn't do anything for me, and I hated playing his fucking chapter as much. Like now with the Catwoman, I think I would have to argue with her. I didn't mind her one fatality where she did her whip around the neck and pulled you forward and then like broke your neck like up that. Like I thought that one was all right. Yeah, but her other one was super fucking mild as shit.
Oh yeah, yep.
All right, so that after that we got favorite level.
Ooh, I bet you already know what it is for me. Have a guess. Have a guess. What do you think it is?
It's probably gonna be the same as mine. I'm gonna say maybe the Nether Realm.
Ooh, no.
Ooh.
I chose the graveyard.
Oh, okay.
yeah, just that horror aesthetic and gothic horror vibes. And I like with this level, you're not only like when you're absolutely belting the piss out of your opponent, you're gonna this level allows the players to be flung into markers, like gravestones and other decorations, just to facilitate that combo structure a bit more, and not only that, you can send your opponent down to that lower level free for all combat that we spoke about earlier, which is pretty cool. But yeah, I just horror, mate. And
no, that's fine, dude. I mean, it's always I always like that one with the thought of it's a multi-tiered graveyard.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, where the fuck is this graveyard, dude? That there's just so many tiers of the fucking but no, dude, classic like MK style graveyard, man. It's got all the producers' names and shit in it. I think it's like right even in the very opening scene where you're playing as Liu Kang, it does a pan up over a grave and it says Sanchez right on it, which is one obviously the gents that helped make the game.
Also Easter egg.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like good shit like that.
I wonder, like in the graveyard level, like it says you can see Johnny Cage's name on the stone itself. I've never seen it, but I wonder if when you go into the next tier, if it's, I mean, like if there's names like on the next tier,
like if you have to do a level fall to be able to see it.
Yeah, I wonder if like there's names on that next one, or they're only on the main one, and then when you go down there, there's just fucking nothing.
I think if I'm not, I could be wrong. I feel like most of them are producers, and then they just happen to throw in Cage in there, but I'm not sure exactly where it was, or even if it's in one of the destructible ones, like you mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm gonna have to like almost pay attention to that. That was something I learned as I was doing the little research for this episode. Like, no shit. So favorite level for me, I'm gonna have to say Nether Realm. I just fucking love the look of the lava in the game, dude, and this is one of the ones also where you have the non-stop free throw all. So if you get close enough to the ring, you can just consistently throw each other over and over and over and over and over again. And it's fucking fantastic because we're just gonna play rock paper scissors the whole fucking match. It's gonna be grand. Be grand. Other than that, I mean, like I feel like the level lines in this, or I'm sorry, the level designs in this were a little like weak.
Yes.
And I blame it on the arena aspect. I feel like that's what kind of makes it just, you know what I mean? It you can't utilize it properly. Like obviously when we get farther into the MK series, dude, especially involving in like when we can actually like do level interacts and shit like that just makes it that much like grander of a scale to me, where it's like these just feel so like just empty and open and just like I wish it was almost a little bit more MK4 style where there was like shit in the arena. Like, okay, yeah, we have the gravestones where you could throw them into it. NetherRealm has like those weird like rock pillars or whatever. But I wish there was like skulls and shit like an MK4 that you could actually like chuck and stuff too. Like that would have been a cool mechanic to bring back, I feel.
Yeah, that would have been pretty sick actually.
Right, especially with the super huge open arena base. Like, and they definitely had like the shifting was down pat by this point. You know what I mean? Like we talked about in MK4, it was on the miss there, but this is 4 games after the fact. And I always thought it was weird that the joystick you couldn't jump with. And I don't know if you're like so you played on PS3 and obviously used the D-pad.
Yep.
So do I, same obviously with the 360. But it's weird, like sometimes I would use the joystick, but the joystick would always just do the side shift with no jump. But you could just, if you have the D-pad and you just use left trigger, you could do the side shift. I don't know. It was fucking, I don't know why they I don't know why they ever did that with the joystick. They should have just left it the same as the D-pad where you could have jumped and shit. And then you just had to hit left triggered in order to like sidestep and all that good shebang. But
yeah.
All right. Fuck them levels. We don't have them anymore. So that's all that matters. All right. So I think this is the question that you and I were probably looking the most forward to answering because it was probably going to be one of the hardest ones to pick, or maybe not. But favorite fatality, which is laughable, of you.
We should have really chose worst fatality for this one.
You know what? You're not wrong. But we probably could still too.
Yeah. Well, I've definitely got one for that. My favorite fatality for this was the Liu Kang head stomp, and it's followed by a fireball. If we had got this in a bloody Mortal Kombat game today, the fucking violence that would have been brutal. Would have been absolutely brutal. Like as I said, the concept was there, the idea, and that just doesn't execute very well. But I'd have to go with that. And I'm going to actually say right now, the shittest fatality in this game for me was my boy Kano. They did him fucking wrong. My God. What does he do? He rolls onto someone and jumps on their chest, and you're like, fatality.
It's literally just called flip stomp too. You're just like, what? Okay. No, I'm so glad you brought that up, dude, because they definitely they shafted him hard on that one. Like, what the fuck was that? Literally flip the guy. Not even like super high jump either. You know what I mean? Like kind of like a jump and a half.
Yep.
Stomp in the stomach, and then that's kind of it. Like
that's meant to kill Superman, for fuck's sake.
Right? Like, unless fucking Kano has like some density control that we've never known about, and he could like make himself as heavy as a fucking planet, then maybe. But what the fuck, dude? Like,
gravity does not exist with Kano.
Right? He controls it. That's his mutant power. So I think my favorite, I'm gonna have to go with Scorpion. And not as toasty, but is actually his lava pool. Yeah, I thought that was kind of cool. I almost think they should have not thrown the skeleton back up through it.
No.
Like, I feel like if you just did the straight drag down in and then that's it, that would have been just, you know what I mean? Like almost kind of like Freddy in MK9 a little bit. Yes. You know what I mean? Like obviously he grabs you up and fucking stabs you and takes you down. It's a little bit more, but has that aesthetic to it. And I just, that was one of the ones where I can do it all the time. And I'm just like, all right, I'm satisfied with that. That's good.
Yep. No, I agree with you. That's a great fatality.
Kano, though, they did dirty. I would almost have to agree with you on the worst fatality in that. I mean, dude, they're like I said, Shang Tsung's, they're not bad. It's just they're the same. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like there wasn't variation there. Any of the ones on fire, like you know what I mean? Like Sonya. Like Sonya's got actually like hers aren't too bad. Like she's got the kiss of death, which lights them on fire. I'm like, okay, I can accept that. But then she's also got the other one where she jumps up and it kind of slows down, but she does that neck breaker, and then she flips off and you watch them fall down. It's not like the most bloodiest or anything, but it's very suiting for her character, I feel like, and it's still like just the way it's played out. I'm like, okay, that one's not bad either. Like it's not terrible.
Actually, I want to just say Flash's fatality. He does that one where he's like running from all angles and he's punching the absolute shit.
Oh yeah, that brutality there, dude. That's very reminiscent of the one you mentioned, like Liu Kang, like where Liu Kang's like kicking him in the fucking face because Flash literally does the same fucking thing.
Yeah, I thought that was a pretty fucking cool little fatality.
Because what is he like? He punches him from like 3 different sides, and then that's when he drops down and like stop, and then fucking Like how is that not a fatality? But Liu Kang's was Liu Kang's the fatality was just like that the flame punch at the end. Like now, if they redid that in like MK11, I could see where like. Dude, where he's stomping on his head, like you see it breaking into the ground, and you see like the face actually like bashing, like in,
like mashing.
And then when he goes and does the flame punch, dude, like that's just like full on like head explosion at that point. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, because I think he does like the old heel stomp on old mate, and then jumps up and then like throws a fireball or something.
No, he does the flaming. It's like a flaming punch. Like,
that's
he puts the fire like he's got the fireball in his hand, and then he goes down and just a wham. Like, but if it was in like this, it was like new era MK, dude, you'd have like a full head explosion with like an eyeball popping at you, like in slow mo and shit, dude. It'd be fucking dope.
That'd be fucking sick.
Gather around, bring it back.
We love you.
Yeah, right. No, I mean, I don't know. The DC characters are. Like I said, they had to give the heroes the brutalities, which were kind of like Superman has won. Okay. And I feel like this would kill anybody else if he actually was able to do it. But he punches, like he pounds you into the ground like a fucking sledge. You know what I mean? Like, I'm like, how is that not breaking the motherfucker's neck? Like,
that's right. Yeah.
But whatever.
What about Batman's? He takes someone up, like he gets his gun out, shoots his fucking gun up in the air, takes the person with him, and then they just fall to their death.
Right? Like he just straight up drops them, dude.
Yeah. It's like,
yeah,
wouldn't they just break their legs or?
Right? Like this is Nolan Batman. He just didn't give a fuck, dude. He was dropping motherfuckers off 10-story buildings.
That's right. Yeah. Forgot about that.
Oh, man. And you know what? I gotta say, quick shout out to Lex Luthor, man. I thought he was pretty sweet in his Iron Man get up in this game. But he was actually a pretty you could play him pretty nasty, dude. Like he had that like triple punch with then like he had like a lower like triple like shin punch. Like it was fucking weird. He was a tank. So fatalities. All right. So final thoughts on this, dude.
Yeah, like look, this game has potential. You know, if you I don't know. It's just minor tweaks here and there. Bring back the fucking brutal fatalities, and I'd be more than happy to like play this game. Like I won't say it's a fucking extremely bad game at all whatsoever, because I think the fighting is good in this game. Like it's basically like what we've touched on before. I mean, there's definitely positives, negatives about this game. The lack of violence. I mean, but here's the thing that I don't really like, it sort of pissed me off. It's like, I mean, if you're going to do a crossover with Mortal Kombat, expect the fucking violence. I mean, what were they thinking, you know?
Right, like if you're joining the MK world, shit's gonna get fucked. Like that's the like MK world's not gonna nerf itself for another world. You know what I mean?
That's right.
And they almost didn't even want to in this game. Like everybody from the MK universe was ready to just kill any motherfucker in their path because that's what they're fucking used to.
Absolutely. I just really wanted to see the creative fatalities that these DC characters could actually come up with. Like, imagine actually giving them the violence. I mean, imagine what Superman would fucking do to you. He would just annihilate you off this planet.
Superman would definitely have like a lobotomizing fatality, I feel.
Yes.
Which would be fucking amazing. And then I feel like he would have to do one where like he just straight up, I don't know, like he just ripped your skin right off your like I think Shiva had one like that. She did a skin rip where like the skeleton was left. Like I feel like he would almost have to have like something like ridiculous like that. You know what I mean? Like
it'd be so far over the top, it wouldn't be funny.
Or like he could have a Voorhees thing or something where he picks him up by one leg and just fucking smashes him back and forth. Like, actually, that would have been a great one for Doomsday if they ever brought in Doomsday. But
yeah,
no, man. Final thoughts. I'm gonna. Yeah. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, bud.
No. I was just gonna say, yeah, that's what I think of the game. Like as I said, it's enjoyable to play. Just fix those minor tweaks, and yeah, that's about it for me.
Yeah, I have to agree, man. It's a solid fighter. It's definitely not a solid MK game.
Yeah, far from it.
The fighting's good. It looks it's a beautiful looking game, dude. It still holds up, I feel, really well. Especially if you're playing on a 4K now. I think some of the costume designs were some of the coolest. Like we mentioned earlier, love Scorpion's design, love Sub-Zero's design. The DC character, I liked Batman's design because, like I said, it was the old school Batman, but he was still like the dark gray.
Yeah,
and you know, everybody else, there was a classic, and the MK characters were kind of, you know, whatever. Liu Kang wasn't bad, but Liu Kang's been the same since like MK3 at this point. You know, red and black pants with long hair. Okay. In this one though, he's got like a fucking 10-pack instead of like a normal 6-pack. He's just super jacked. But no, I would say it's like a solid like B Mortal Kombat. You know what I mean? It's definitely not an A by any means. Like it was a good attempt. They were almost there. It was just lacking at the end.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And you know what? Test Your Might was a cool little, like the Test Your Might. The free fall was great. Close combat, didn't need that.
No.
So, you know, there was a lot of wins. There was a few misses, but all in all, it was a fun game. If you haven't played it in a while, I suggest going back and running through story mode, man. At least just do that because it's a fun little story. I like it. And, you know, you don't even have to do both sides. Just do one. You're going to know the story anyways. They end the same way. So, But other than that, what do we have for next week's episode, buddy?
So we are going to be talking about Injustice.
Yeah. So keep an eye out for that. We're going to keep on the DC spinoffs going to. Ooh. So like, yeah, obviously we're off of the full MK spinoffs at this point, but I feel like, you know, the Injustices are the NetherRealm Studios baby still, and we wouldn't have them if it wasn't for this game right here that we talked about today. And they're a great series. It's very hard for me to play one of those after playing MK because then my button mindset is all MK style, and then going to play that, it just fucks me completely. I'm sure anybody that's played them both right back to back understands what I'm saying. It's the block. It's going from a dedicated block with the trigger versus the back like defensive block for like a normal like I can't think of how you want to call it, but essentially just back block was what we'll call it. You know what I mean? Like I think that's my biggest throw off with that. But other than that, I think that's about it, brother.
Absolutely.
So
it's been a bloody good episode.
Absolutely. And so thank you for joining us. And without further ado, I am your Fluff Master Supreme, Big Johnny D, saying catch you next week.
And this is your doppelganger Kanga Banger from down under saying sayonara, bitches.